Hey, my friends. Hi, Rabbi Brian here. This is the Saturday service. I am broadcasting today, not in my usual time zone, so you'll see there's a different time. Uh-oh. And I'm on the remote setup, so something strange just happened there. I apologize. I do have a whole bunch of people. Alex, can you tell me? I don't want to flip screens around today. We have 30 plus people, 26 people, 20 people are joining in right now. Well, if you're just joining in, welcome. Today is the 20th day of May, 21st day of May, 2020. It is an auspicious, wonderful day because 80 plus years ago, my best buddy Larry was born. And if we have a chance, we're going to make him a phone call during the service just to say hi, because you guys know how important he is to me. And I just want to say it, like Mr. Rogers, and you're important to me too, even if that sounds like a generic. Oh, there was no email invite to today's service. Yes, it is. That I forgot to send that out because, as I said, I am in Florida currently, and I do want to share a screen with you to give you a sense of where I am. Give me a second. I am. Good morning, my dear friends. Thank you for being patient. Alex, you know what's really great about being the tech person is that anything that goes wrong gets blamed on Alex. This is not Alex's doing, and I'm sorry I'm not saying good morning to people by name. I don't have the screens available at the moment, so here we go. I'm going to share this screen. Hold on one moment. Okay, Alex, that one's on you if you would mute. Here we go. I want to show you, here's a map, and I want to show you where I am currently. And I'm zooming in on Florida, and you see these tiny little islands? I am currently at this little island. But I wanted to show you more than that. I didn't wanted to show you more than Captiva Island. I wanted to show you that where I currently am, let me zoom out for a second. Where I currently am is the land that was from the Masago people, and there's a land that was from the Taupo people. And it was a land that was of all these different people who were here before I got here. And I wanted us to take a look and see, these are all different tribes that inhabited these lands that were taken. And it's important to acknowledge. And that land acknowledgement, it's not only that it was taken in the past, but it is currently being occupied. And I am a current occupier. And that's an uncomfortable thing to say, but it's an important thing. And if I can't say it, there's no way I'm going to, there's no way healing is going to happen. And here are different languages that were spoken where I currently am. And here, this was all seated in the Treaty of 1813. Treaty Secession 118, I looked up. This was sometime 1813. All these lands were ceded to the United States government because people were given. It's really disgusting. And I would like to ask you, at the top of this screen, I don't know if I can pull the screen down. I have something blocking where I want to be. This is from a website called Can you see the URL? Is that not showing? Yeah, native-land.ca. And I'm going to encourage you to type in an open browser, native-land.ca, and that's going to go into the chat. And I'm going to ask you to take a look at whose land are you sitting on currently. And it's sobering. And it's important to be sober and reminded. Okay. Hi, folks. How is the beloved community today? I'm going to look at a few of your all faces. There are a few waves, some okays, some metza. It's a very similar between I'm okay and hi, how are you? I see both of them going on. Life is not always so easy. I have a question that I wanted to begin with today. Um, oh, before we do that, I needed to make another acknowledgement. I got my Black Lives Matter shirt on, which being in Florida is an important thing to be wearing, because I need to also acknowledge a massacre that just happened in Buffalo, New York. And I don't call it anything less than a massacre. There's a massacre that happened. And I need to acknowledge it, and we need to come to terms with the racism that is abhorrent in our society. The FBI, I heard a news clip where it said the FBI have set up a tips hotline. If anyone has any information on what might have led to this tragedy, to please call. And I wanted to call the tips hotline and say, yeah, white supremacy, patriarchy, here's your tip. That's what's causing this problem. But I didn't do that. The outrage is warranted. I restrained myself. Okay. Joe, our infamous Joe, is not here. If you guys would do me a favor and in the chat, if you're a normal chat user, just throw some emoticons in there to make Joe feel like Joe's presence is with us. That's what Joe's always doing. If you're new to the service, throw your name in a chat or send a special message to Maria. Maria, if you would put something in the chat so people know that they can contact you if they have a question, they can say hi. Thank you. And I'm going to make this screen a little bigger so I can see more of you at once. There, hi guys. And if you're watching on YouTube, there are a lot of announcements that happen at the beginning, aren't there? A lot of announcements. If you're watching on YouTube, obviously I can't see you, but you can see me if you're watching on Facebook. Or I'm starting to do some streaming on Twitch, which if you're on Twitch, I opened up a chat on that channel. So if you're just at rotb.org, you can see me talking, and I'm typing into the chat there, hello. Okay, so last week I gave out some homework, and here's when I say that, I know you guys well enough to know I know human beings, and I say last week I gave out some homework, that the next thought is, oh shit. How many of you, let me hear from you. How many, can I have a yes, you had that thought when I said there was some homework last week? How many of you had that pit in your stomach feeling of, oh shit? I got a few people. Yeah, and that's just being human. And there's this phrase in Hebrew, and I don't usually do the Hebrew lean on it, but there's this great phrase, kal v'chomer, and it means all the more so. And I want to point out that if in this situation right here, where internet televangelist Rabbi, good looking, soulful eyes, lovely sense of humor, taller than you'd expect, if it's intimidating when I say you had homework, knowing full well that, folks, I have a question. Does anyone think that I would really get harsh on anyone if they did not do their homework? Just Maria. Okay. Thanks, Maria. See me after class, would you? If in this case, where the stakes are little to zero, if it's still scary to be in trouble, right? All the more so. This is just what we do. So coming back to the actual homework, there was actually homework. And if you remember it or not, please don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not collecting your homework today. There's no extra space in heaven for you. Let me remind you. Does anyone, by a show of electronic hands or regular hands, does anyone remember that I gave out some homework? I found it. It was related to the week before we had done science fair and asked you to pick something out. And last week I said, and here, let me be honest. All right, let me be honest. It might just be that I keep pushing the homework back another week so that I never have to collect it. This, and I keep pushing the homework back a week so that if you didn't do it, there's no shame in not having done it. Right? And I talked with Afia beforehand. I said, I want to bring up this thing because last week I said last week, I spend more than an hour preparing for this service. I remember I said this last week. I said, I spend more than an hour, and you spend an hour of your time with me, which is a gift to me. And I appreciate you spending the time with me. And I asked you that for this week, and again, if you didn't do it, no problem. I ask you again, for this week, would you spend an hour of time over the next 7 days? Would you spend 1 hour over the next 7 days doing some spiritual homework on your own? That was the homework assignment. And it was a reasonable request. Whether you... Go ahead, Emily. Amen. Amen. Good. So... Well, Emily has done her homework. There's always one person in the class who's got to let us all know. Yeah, she did it for us. Emily, as a substitute thing. I did see that Ron had his hand up, and I was wondering, Ron. Oh, and look, Jocelyn, I'll get to what you got in a second. I see you there. Ron, there you are, Ron. Did you have something you wanted to report back in about? Okay, then let's pause there. I'm going to force a pause there because I want to make sure that we all understand that phrase because some people, this is their first time hearing that phrase. And the phrase was from Robert Brawl, and he said, life gets easier when you learn to accept the apology of someone who never gave it. So that's the Robert Brawl quote. Life gets easier when you learn to accept the apology from someone who never gave it. Okay, thank you, Ron. Let's go back to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Yeah, like a haunting. Ron, I have a question. Is it possible, and I'm just going to, and if I'm leading too far, you don't want to go there, just tell me. Is it possible that in the 30 years, let's imagine that your dad lived 30 more years. Is it possible to imagine that sometime, maybe at year 19, he said, ah, fuck, I was wrong. Okay, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. It might be nice to imagine that he could, but he wasn't wired like that. And you can't get an orange from a mango tree. Right? You can't get an orange from a mango tree. You can't get acceptance from someone who won't give it to you. You just can't. It's rough. Thank you, Ron, for sharing that. I appreciate your heart there. Yeah, that's a wait. Slow down there, Rob. Yeah, and like, it's like somebody. Oh, your spouse died. Get over it. You can get another one. Like you can't just like most of us can't. We get these attachments. You can't just get over something. This was my friend. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. There's a lot of pain. Yeah, correct. Correct. Thank you, Ron. Thank you. And thank you, Rob. Look at that. Handle like mature men. I appreciate both of you for doing that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. There was another topic. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Bob. Thank you, Ron, for announcing. Thank you, Ray, for announcing that. Go ahead, Rob. Yeah, again, it's easy to say, but when you're the one who's the one, my true, true. It does work. You are right. It can work. We can accept forgiveness whether or not another person has given it. That's the challenge. That's the challenge. And if you want, thank you, Rob. And I'll say to everyone, if this sounds like this quote really hits you and is you want to play with it, spend an hour over the next week contemplating forgiving people who didn't ask for your forgiveness. I think I write one here. Here we go. I need to do a shout out here. Is that going to show up? No, that's not going to work. I was trying to show you. Oh, there's a picture of me with my father-in-law. It's his 90th birthday. That's why we're here. And he is quite a character, and I love Phil very, very, very much. So thank you for letting me share that with you. Yeah. There was another thing from last week that I wanted us to follow back up on. Was last week, and I'm wondering if you were here, if you can remember, we talked about pride being the natural fine state, and that often the word pride was used not correctly. That pride itself is not a sin, but that conceit was a problem. Valuing yourself beyond your abilities is a problem. But being proud of yourself for your accomplishments are okay. What's up, Ron? Oh, you're way too deep for me right now, Rob. Yes. Oh, go ahead, Jocelyn. Yeah. Yeah. It's the things that don't kill us make us stronger. And there's a great phrase. Now, you don't have to believe in God in an external sense for this phrase to work. It says, God won't give me any more than I can handle. I just wish God didn't trust me so much. Um, Let me get back to pride. Anyone in the last week do any science experiment, do any thinking about how you yourself have a hard time taking in goodness and being proud? I can tell you I talked with my literary agent on Wednesday, and guess what? It went really, really, really well. She loved what I wrote. I had to, at times, I didn't ever let it win, but the automatic programming in my head that was, don't get so big on yourself, she's probably wrong, that voice came up. It didn't win. I was able to watch it as it was happening, which for me was a huge accomplishment. I'm feeling really, really proud of myself with the book, but also I'm feeling really, really proud of my allowing myself to be proud. Which brings me to this. Jocelyn was holding it up. If you don't have your own copy of Rabbi Brian's Reluctant Revelation and you are a donor to Religion Outside the Box in the amount of $18 or more, please, I would love to send you one of these. If you are already a donor in the amount of $18 or more, I'm waiting on another shipment of these books to send to get you those. And there's an email that I don't know if you've. Thank you. I don't remember if I sent out the email asking all those people for their addresses or not. I might have. I might not have. It's a really sweet little read, and I'd love to share it with you. So yay. Oh, there was a joke I wanted to tell you from my friend John R. John R. said this about telling people to just get over it. He had just broken up with someone, and someone said, "Oh, there are plenty of fish in the sea," which is really just dismissive. It's saying, "I don't want to deal with your pain. Get over it because it makes me uncomfortable." Don't you feel pain? It makes me uncomfortable. What a weird thing to say. So somebody said to him, "Oh, there are plenty of other fish in the sea." And he said to me, "Rabbi, that's like someone saying to someone with asthma, 'Oh, don't worry, there's plenty of air.'" Okay. John will get a little kick out of the fact that I mentioned him. So, hi, John. I want to go over to prayer time. There are some names of people who we keep a collection of that it's a list of people who we want to keep on our hearts for a minute of just silent collective concentration, and Maria has that list with her. Thank you, Maria. Amen. So let's go ahead. Okay, thank you. Thank you for adding that. Let's take a minute at a time when this gets to the 45 seconds. Okay. I have a piece that I want to read to you, and while that's loading up, you can add to your hour of practice time. I have too many thoughts going on at once as I'm trying to open up this file. So, pardon me. We're gonna jump instead while that's loading. We're gonna give Larry, my best friend, the retired minister. We're gonna give him a call on speakerphone and see if he answers and wish him a happy birthday. Well, mainly I'm gonna wish him a happy birthday, but I want you guys to wish him a happy. I love him so much. He taught me how to be kind. Truly. Most.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging
We will do
system.
that.
818.
Oh wait, you shouldn't hear the whole phone number. Blah 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 blah.
16 is not available. At the
That
tone,
would- that would
please
be a
record
little
your
bit like a
message. When you
violation,
finish
right?
recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey Larry, it's your birthday and I love you. You have taught me more about kindness and religious patience. And you have taught me, and you've told me to go out and be a preacher in a really powerful way. And I have a whole group of people who have learned from me who want to say a special something to you. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go for it. Oh, wait. He's answering. Hold on. Hey, Larry.
I accidentally bumped your call. I'm sorry.
Why are you apologizing, man? Oh, my God.
Well,
You're too
I
nice.
thought maybe I was interrupting your class.
Well, actually, they are all on the line right now. I just told them that I needed to call you and wish you a happy birthday because you're my best buddy.
Thank you, my friend. Give them my love. That's wonderful.
I will do. Would you like to hear them sing?
Pardon me?
Would you like to hear them sing? You can say no.
Yes, I would love it. No,
Okay, here we go, choir. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday. Wow.
I didn't hear a word.
That's okay, Larry. That's okay. Larry, I think you're the one who taught me the phrase that sometimes you have to love people more than you love music.
I think so. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy. I'll call you later.
I love you. Bye.
Okay. I have learned with that man, about love and about there's something strange, and it should not ever be, but of two men saying to each other, I love you. And it's just the most beautiful thing that I have this relationship with this man who's willing to love me back, and I love him hard. Okay. I thank you. I'm going to take in the love. So I wrote something, and instead of doing a sermon, I want to read to you this little piece that I wrote. I don't know how it's going to go. I've not read this before aloud, but here's what it says. Dear God, my mind is all a bit slurry right now. I think it might have to do with me having added more than a few drops of sweet orange essential oil into my mask while still at home before Robert, the Lyft driver, would take the four of us to the airport at 5:27 this morning. The fuzzy thinking might be exhaustion, too. Anyhow, we're at the gate now, ready to board one plane that will take us to another plane to take us to my father-in-law's 90th birthday near his home on the west coast of Florida. Annie sits to my left and Emmett to her left, both on screens. To the right are the large windows of Gate 17, silhouetting Jane's various poses as she rotates between different stretches. We're getting old, my love, she tells me when I stand to join her. I imagine a lot of people, seemingly myself included, think that being a bit fuzzy-headed is a good time to address a letter to God. I bet a lot of people would think connecting with you would be good to do while fuzzy-headed. And I'm not capitalizing the Y in you, as in connecting to capital Y-O-U. That feels weird. I can't get my head around the fact that there aren't capital letters in classical Hebrew or biblical Greek. I get why people do it, though. I've written the 14th century Persian poet Hafiz a letter. That wasn't awkward any. Why should this be different? But it is. I'm presenting in the conference room of the Franciscan Spirituality Center in Milwaukee, Oregon, a room of future potential directees, and Larry Peacock, the center's director, it says so on his name tag, has invited me. At the top of a paper, I want you to write, I direct them, to, and then skip a line, and write from, and then skip a line, and write subject. Please put a colon after each of the three words, to, from, and subject. On the second line, where it says from colon, I'm going to ask you to write God at god.com. I improvise a line about God's email being registered as a .com as opposed to .org. I've still not found a good punchline for that setup. I thought that was really funny too. I instruct the 14 people around the conference table to fill in the email address to which God most likely would write to you, and skip the subject line for now, as you might not know it until the end of the email. I round out my instructions with, as for the body of the email, think of it as a 3-part sandwich. The top layer of bread is the salutation. It might be God calling you by a pet name, or perhaps it is the anonymous to whom it may concern. The bottom slice, the sign-off, it might be a dismissive with warm regards God, or even threatening, I'll be watching you, before it signs off. Finally, the middle, that's where you're going to spend most of your time writing and allow yourself to be surprised. You'll never have to share a thing that you write, I assure them, and I set a timer for 2 minutes. Now I'm thinking right at this moment, you have the opportunity right now to try this exercise. In fact, I thought you might like it so much that I've tucked a pre-filled out form 3 pages from the end of the book. Set a 2-minute timer and I'll meet you back here. I also considered having you guys do that right now, but I didn't want that to get in the way of the written piece. So, okay. While the individuals dutifully write, I pen a quick letter to the Sufi seer Hafiz. Despite the utter implausibility of getting a response, him being dead and, as far as I know, and I've not yet checked Wikipedia, not an English speaker, I have no difficulty with completing the task of asking him for some tips on how to feel close to God. When time is up, I ask the group, if you were in middle school and asked about the tone of the letter, what might you say is the tone? And I pause. I start vague, I tell them. I'm leading them through the exercises while also explaining the rationale of some of the subtleties, so that I ease the participants into vulnerability. I repeat again. So think again about the tone of the email you just received, and if you're comfortable sharing, tell us in just a word or two the tone of the email you just received. I just realized there should be examples of what people say there, but that hasn't been written yet, so those will get added. I asked as though I just conjured the thought, and for how many of you did the exercise start with one set of thoughts as what you thought it was going to be, but became something else? The answer is indefinitely yes. This group needed a moment of comic relief, so I led them as a group on the count of 3 to pantomime the make-believe keystrokes or mouse clicks that would bring them to hit reply. And then I set a 2-minute timer. Time for you to write the reply. And then this is written in the book, but we're not going to do it. Your turn again. Hit reply. What do you write back to God? Set a 2-minute timer, and I'll meet you back here. I received my own written response from Hafiz. It says, bwa ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, bwa ha 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 ha, ha ha, bwa ha. Secrets? Ha ha ha. You asked me for tips? Ha ha ha. You know you asked, and you think I have secrets you don't have? Bwa ha ha, oh dearest beloved, ha ha ha. You asked me for secrets, ha, oh how rich, ha 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 ha. Let me conclude with a poem of Hafiz. What is the difference between your experience of existence and that of a saint? The saint knows that the spiritual path is a sublime game of chess with God, and that the beloved has just played such a fantastic move that the saint is continually tripping over joy, bursting out in laughter, saying, "I surrender." Whereas, my dear, I'm afraid you still think you have 1,000 serious moves. I think this is where some kind of applause or acknowledgement would happen. Or, okay. Amen, Jack. Amen. Okay, folks, I'm having a little bit of an awkward moment because I don't know how to interpret this or feel about this, but I feel like I just shared something really deep and intimate, and there's a lot of silence, and that could be because you're all blown away, and I need to hear something else back here, please. Okay, we're on our way. So I'll tell you a story. While we're observing. So I did magic tricks for years. I still do, actually. And I can't get the quote off of my screen, and that's fine. Alex, if you could put the whole quote, I texted it to you in the chat. If you could put that so people can read it. So Mikey and I, this is actually great. This is so great, folks. This is so wonderful. Let me get myself centered on the screen. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Michael and I did card tricks. My best buddy, Michael. We did card tricks and we did a duo act and we had a lot of fun. And we built a huge illusion because we wanted to. And we did this thing, it's called the Metamorphosis. It was a trick invented by Houdini where I got into a bag tied up. There was no bottom to the bag, so it was really, really easy to get out of. But people didn't know that. And so I get tied up into the bag, and he closes the bag, locks it, spins it all around. He stands on top of the box with a sheet, and he lifts it in the air, and when the sheet drops, I catch it, and he's inside the box. And and we had never done anything besides a card trick. Like that, like the most impressive thing we had ever done in our lives was a card trick. And when I stood on top of the box, I looked out, and the audience they didn't know what to believe. Like they were in shock and they were absorbing what they had just seen. And I think you know why I'm telling this story. I'm having the same response here. I forgot, like I'm new at writing. I'm new at writing well. And I didn't realize, I guess this is my first realizing that people got to digest that shit. Go ahead, Jess. Yeah. 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 You're right. Right. Yeah. Thank you, Jess. Yeah. That. Thank you. Uh, Go ahead, Shmuley. Mm, yeah. Thanks, Shmuley. And for those of you who are keeping score, which is just me really, in my ever battle with Jordan to play chess, um, we had a stalemate, which I count as a win. Okay. And Jordan says hello, as does Annie. Jordan says hello. He does a lot of political action work, and I join him after the service usually. And if you want to get involved in phone banking, you're allowed to phone bank. We phone bank to South Carolina to try to keep a supermajority from happening in a bad way there. If you want to get involved in a phone bank, please let me know. I'd be glad. You can do it from Canada. You can do it from anywhere. You're allowed to call and try to get people out to vote. Let me know. Anyway, Jordan does that in This Is That season, so he says hi. That was a lot more information than you needed. Also, Annie, because of the time, she's awake, but she's like, Dad, I'm not going to the service. I'm going to the pool. So, horrible, horrible child. So ashamed. Okay. Any other feedback on the piece that I wrote? Things that they wanna say. The part what I just wrote about doing spiritual direction with people and having them write letters to God and writing back. And thank you for letting me share. Oh yeah, yeah. That's the best part. Yeah. Now, not everyone has the access. Jack, is there any chance to convince you to come on over to the Religion Outside the Box Clubhouse and post some stuff in there? Oh, please do, because I get to be the recipient of what you send, but not, other people don't. And while I'm saying that, the Shekhinah group, if anyone is on the call and they want to be involved in the group that discusses all aspects of the divine and have uh, Zoom meetings about that, please put something in the chat and somebody can get that name to Rita. I don't know if Rita's on. I can't see the screens. And Rita. Oh, hi, Rita. Um, as usual, I don't want to overlook you. Sorry. That was, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Okay. Well, I thank you for being here. I feel like COVID is like this horrible game of dodgeball that we're all in. It is. It is. It is quite a thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was something I wanted us all to talk about if we wanted to. So that was thoughts on last Monday. I'll just set it up. Last Monday, I sent out an apology on behalf of organized religion, and it fits in very nicely with this theme that we had been talking about of getting an apology, not of getting for accepting the apology of someone who is unable to give it. So go ahead, Jack. I know you had something to say. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it was a powerful piece that I sent. It got shared on Facebook more than anything I've shared. It was 200 plus shares last I was. It's amazing. Um, and the more touching part is that it wasn't just shared of, hey, this is something funny, but it was shared of, this is something that moved me. And there were a lot of tears from it. So thank you for acknowledging that, Jack. Emily, from you, you had a thought there? And you did that. Yeah. Yeah, you are welcome. And Emily, I'm very conscious of the way that you said those last three words. You said, "I thank you." Can you explain to everyone what you're doing there? Yeah, but yeah, I did. But I was hoping instead of everyone having to hear me talk about it, maybe you could explain to them the difference of saying "I thank you" and saying thanks. Yeah, it gives us a chance to actually think about the words we're saying and that it includes the two most important parts of that sentence, which are the two people. Yeah. So I thank you. I think that's Betsy. Is that Betsy? Okay. Ah. Oh, interesting. Oh, I like that. Okay, so here's another homework assignment. See if you can find reason in the next week to give a sacred thank you. I mean, that's what my thank you to Larry is on his birthday. It's a sacred thank you for sharing all the things that you've shared with me. Okay, I want to move. Yeah, yeah. It's Shirley's birthday, and tomorrow I think is Alex. Whose birthday is? There's someone tomorrow. Is Lee's birthday is tomorrow. Lots of good birthdays coming up, and there's somebody else's birthday who it is, but I don't know if I want to, if they are all right with me embarrassing them by saying. Can you give me some visual on if it's all right? It's all right. Oh, is that Kip Johnston? Hi, Kip. Kip and Lee, happy birthday to both of you. Wonderful. So here's one other thought that I have. Oh, that's not. I mean, that is a thought I had, but that's not the one I was reaching for. Here's the one that I was reaching for. Um, before I go into this topic, I want to make sure that I have time enough to say what else it is that I want to say. So I'm going to take this quote down, center myself a little, literally trying to center myself. Um, hey, I'm going to just put it out there. If you would like to be of support to this ministry and you are not, it would be appreciated. The help that you give helps me help others. And that's three uses of the word help in one sentence. But the reason I'm able to send out such wonderful material for free, it's the same way that public radio works, is that people support it. And I appreciate all the support from all the people who give it. And if you feel like there's a gap between the amount that you value what you get and the amount that you give, let's fix that math, shall we? If you are giving more than you think you should, let's fix that math too. Let's keep this feeling right. Okay, here's the next question. I'm going to speak a little spiritual religious woo-woo-y for a moment. And wooey, wooey, wooey. And I'm going to suggest that, and they're not. Please don't take me to task. I got it. So the apology that I sent got shared to a group called Atheists versus Christians. lighthearted discussion. Okay, that's the name of the group. I was like, really? Okay. So they share, but they like go picayune at each other. Well, when you said whence, you should have said Lord, blah, blah, blah. And I said something about, I quoted Walt Whitman, who said, with regard to religious doctrine, reject anything that insults your soul. This is a great quote, but don't share that quote on that group because they went after me. What do you mean by soul? I'm like, what the like you're missing the whole thing. But all right, so I'm going to use the word spirit here. Yeah, thank you. Let's get all the gasps out now, shall we? Spirit. Okay, good. That's good. No, actually, that's etymologically fine because spirit and breath, you see, are related. So spirit, inspired. Also, the word inspired means spirit within, which is a great one. And for you etymology geeks, one of the best words ever is enthusiasm. It's got entheos right in it. It's God within. That's what enthusiasm is. Enthusiasm is you got God in. Okay, anyway. Spirit, whatever we're using that word to mean. Sometimes, like, there's a thing and, like, spirit moves you. I'm not going to give you, like, think of a thing where you're like, oh, spirit had that. You know the thing I'm talking about? Like, there's a thing where spirit will move us. Like, I didn't want to do it, but the spirit moved. Like, it's like if we have Venn diagrams, the word for moved by the spirit and the circle for fate kind of loosely kiss at some points there. It is warbly where they intersect. I don't know how that works, but spirit. Here's a question. If we accept that at times spirit moves us and there's the hand, whatever that thing is, here's my question. How would I know? Don't answer. This is kind of rhetorical and for you to be thinking about before you answer. How would I know that you are open to allowing spirit to move you? In other words, what is your fixedness rating? Right? If you are completely fixed, this is how things are. These are the plans I've got, and that's how it's got to be. I would say your fixedness rating is quite high. How can you lower your fixedness rating? Well, first you have to even decide if you want to. And like if you're really happy and you're concrete, everything's solid, and this is this, and this is this, and binary, 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 binary. If you're comfortable in that, I don't think spirit might have to smack you hard actually to get you to move. I don't like that. I don't even like any implication of spirit smacking anyone. That's not the right. Um, that yeah. What aha moment? Thank you. Let's translate it into. Yeah, winds is reminding me too much of gas at this moment. Um, just saying. Oh, and on a dare. No, never mind. I'm going to leave that be. So, how would I know that you are allowing spirit to move in your life? And I don't really think the important thing is how would I know, but how would you? How anyone have a tip on like, hey, I happen to have a really good thought about something I do that frees me up and allows more spirit in. Does that feel like, yeah? Yeah. Well, these are all I think what we want. We want more flexibility. Give me some other words. Being more open. We want more recepting. You got accepting. Yeah. Listening. How about not resenting what happened. Okay, maybe let's not do that one. Right? Oh, it's okay. Okay, so not resent, like something that happened, something happened. And the more we hold on to, this was bad. Obviously, there are exceptions on the fringes here. But the more we hold on to, this is not the way it was supposed to be, I think the less open we are. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I agree with you, Jack. And I'm also going to ask that we try to keep our comments back to first person singular of what I've noticed. What I've noticed. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I can translate you just fine. Um, is there anyone, Finn, for example, we haven't heard from who would want to share? Gord, even better. I just see you volunteering yourself. That's very kind of you. So, Gord, that you don't have to. You don't have to. Do you have something to say? And yeah, and I was thought for a second I saw Ann Mayer's hand go up, and then I thought that was an apparition. That was an apparition. Okay. Yeah, Candace. No, you were talking to someone else. Sorry. Okay, I just saw it. Yeah, go April and Candace, and then April. Sorry about that. How would I know? How would I know that you would allow spirit to move you? What is your fixedness rating? Yeah. Yeah, how well that's a problem with the question was it said how would I know? But how do you know that you're open and willing to let spirit I think so. I'm I'm making this stuff up a lot of the time. It's not like I got a prayer book and a hymnal in front of me that has this exactly written right. Yeah. Mm. I think I like your kind of weird, April. I gotta say that. Yeah. And that helped you to be open to mm, April. I April, I apologize, my friend. I'm just noticing our time, and I'm reading all these books about time, about event time and calendar time, and I'm like, I'm past the calendar time. The event's not over, but the calendar time thing is, and my utter attempts to be white are fitting into boxes, and I gotta stop. I know people are holding in. I know people are wanting to go to the small groups afterwards. So let me stop the recording for now. I apologize for having to end up on you there. Let's all wave goodbye if you would. I appreciate it. Thank you guys all for sticking around. Happy birthday to